Yes, I would like to contact somebody at the Florida State Attorney's Office, 14th Judicial Circuit, about a cop crime that I witnessed. And the thing is this, is I fear retaliation, and I'm trying to report it, so you make it real hard for anybody to turn in a cop crime, right? Then would you mind getting me somebody that can look into a prosecution?
Okay, and it's against the police department?
It's against a cop, yes. The situation is February 9th, 2016, 4:30 p.m. at Wilson Avenue and 20...
Quit yelling and let me transfer you. Hold on a moment. You have reached Pam Haglin, Public Service Coordinator for the State Attorney's Office. Please leave a detailed message at the tone. Thank you. Recording.
Yes, Pam Hagler at February 9th, 2016, 4:30 p.m. at Wilson Avenue and 23rd Street. I witnessed a cop order a bicyclist who was going down 23rd Street, going from west to east, and so was the cop. I witnessed this cop order this bicyclist to get up on the sidewalk or he was going to arrest him and throw him in jail. Now, I have tried calling Police Chief Scott Irvin. I talked to Laura Olson, who happens to be the secretary. I talked to Cynthia Raymer, who happens to be criminal investigations at the Panama City Police Department. I talked to Officer Smith, who acknowledged that the cops have GPS devices in their cars, so we'll know exactly who this cop is. I talked to an Officer Ruckert, who's told me that he's been 9 years in Homeland Security before he became on the Panama City Police Department. I'm assuming that they have dash cams in their vehicle because this was a new vehicle. This was not an old vehicle. I'm sure they got body cams on the cops, and I'm sure that the cops carry tape recorders. And because they got GPS devices that track the cops at all times, they know exactly where that cop is. I never thought I'd see the day that a cop would do this. And I'm looking for a criminal prosecution on this cop under United States Code Title 18, 241-242, which is a $10,000 fine, 10 years in prison. I'm looking for a criminal prosecution on this cop for using his official office to terrorize and corrupt government practices. That's under 775, 30, 2A, to intimidate the anybody in population, and B, to use, and also B, to corrupt. I'm also looking for a prosecution under this cop under terrorism, under 876 of the Florida statutes, because now this bicyclist has future fear, never knowing when he's going to be going down the road in a lawful manner, in a lawful, careful manner, that this cop is going to arrest him. I also want this cop charged under 895 of the Florida statutes, which is a felony. I want this cop arrested for perjury, for violating his oath of induction to become a cop in the first place. That's under 876 of the Florida statutes. And I want him arrested also for violating his constitutional oath to protect citizens. That's under 876 of the Florida statutes. I also want this cop arrested for perjury, convenient perjury, for him knowingly taking his oath and then lying and going back on his oath. Or otherwise, cops can just take and do as they well please, man. So anyway, I'm calling the 14th Judicial Circuit, Glenn Hess, Panama City, Florida, Fayette County, Florida, of the 14th Judicial Circuit, and I'm looking to have a prosecution done on this cop. And the cop will be easily, from the identification of the facts are that this cop was in his car and they got GPS devices. So I'm hoping that you all will consider this very serious. Not only that, what if he was high? What if he was on drugs? What if he was drinking? What if he's doing other criminal activity besides that? Because it sure doesn't seem to me like that this cop was conducting himself in a manner that would make the Panama City Police Department proud. They've got this propaganda slogan on their vehicle. People serving people, dedicated to evidence. They even have the propaganda on their cars.
Press 1. To continue recording, press 2.
Yes, Dave Hagler, at February 2015, 4:30 p.m. at Wilson Avenue and 23rd Street, I witnessed a cop order a bicyclist who was going down 23rd Street, going from west to east to service the cop. I witnessed this cop order this bicyclist to get up on the sidewalk or he was going to arrest him and throw him in jail. Now, I'm in time calling Police Chief Scott Urban. I talked to Laura Olson, who happens to be the secretary. I talked to Cynthia Rayner, who happens to be criminal investigations at the Panama City Police Department. I talked to Officer Smith, who acknowledged that the cops have GPS devices in their cars, so we'll know exactly who this cop is. I talked to an officer, Rooker, who's told me that he's been 9 years in Homeland Security before he became on the Panama City Police Department. I'm assuming that they have dash cams in their vehicle because this was a new vehicle. This was not an old vehicle. I'm sure they got body cams on the cops, and I'm sure that the cops carry tape recorders. And it's because they got GPS devices that they track the cops at all times. They know exactly where that cop is. I never thought I'd see the day that a cop would do this. And I'm looking for a criminal prosecution on this cop under the United States Code Title 18, 241, 242, which is $10,000 fine, 10 years in prison. I'm looking for a criminal prosecution on this cop for using his official office to terrorize and corrupt government practices. That's under 775, column 30, 2A, to intimidate the general human population and be to youth, and also
End of recording. To review, press 1. To continue recording, press 2. To stop recording.
Okay. This happened February 9th, 2016, 4:30 p.m. at Wilson Avenue and 23rd Street. I made this phone call on February 12th, 2016, approximately about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It seems to me they make it awful hard for people to turn in a dirty cop. They want you to go through a chain of command. I even called the Bay County Sheriff's Department. I talked to Becky Johns of Records. She says been there for 30 years. I also left a message with Florida Highway Patrol Lieutenant Brown to see about getting something done about it. But I understand the cops are your bird dogs, and you need the cops. So you're not going to go hard on a cop. Oh, the only time you will is when there is a sex crime like Ben Logue of the Bay County Sheriff's Department. Or how about David Mudge of the Bay County Sheriff's Department? Or what about Sergeant Stephen Yates that was going around raping young women? It was okay for him to rape welfare queens, food stamp recipients,